Mr. Chairman, for yielding the time. Madam Chairman, I rise in support of this bill, and I want to congratulate and thank Chairman Wolf and Mr. Fattah, the ranking member especially, and all the members of the subcommittee and staff for bringing us a bill I think that we can be proud of and support entirely. This is the third of the 12 appropriations bills that make up our work, and this is the third that we brought to the floor this year, and I think this bill, like the other two that passed, deserves our support. We're moving at a very fast clip on the committee that should allow us to complete appropriations work for the 2015 fiscal year on time. And I promise that my committee will do everything it can to make that a reality. As Chairman Wolf has said, the bill provides $51.2 billion for the Department of Justice, Department of Commerce, NASA, the National Science Foundation, and related agencies. This very thorough piece of legislation, which was approved by the committee, by the way, on a bipartisan basis, makes clear that our priorities of keeping our nation safe and growing is a priority. To achieve these goals, the committee has targeted precious tax dollars toward those programs with proven results and economic benefit. For example, they increased the funding for the Department of Justice by $383 million over last year. And within that total, the bill targets FBI funding toward counterterrorism programs and programs that fight cyber intrusion, gangs, human trafficking. We also work to fight drug trafficking by providing the DEA with $2.4 billion. That includes $367 million to combat prescription drug abuse, which has quickly become our nation's #1 drug threat and described by the Center for Disease Control as a national epidemic, prescription drug abuse. The funding in this bill will also help to protect communities across the country from the risks of devastating natural disasters. We rejected the President's proposed cuts to the National Weather Service and have made sure that adequate funding is provided for hurricane forecasting and tsunami warning grants. We've also made investments in the future of weather forecasting technology. In addition to the efforts in the bill to keep the nation safe, we've also funded programs that will help our nation prosper. Within the National Science Foundation and the Department of Commerce, the bill invests in programs that foster innovation and boost our economic competitiveness. This includes funding for programs that conduct research on manufacturing, cybersecurity, neuroscience, and STEM education, as well as $5 million in grant funding to encourage the repatriation of overseas jobs. But, as my committee will do with every bill we bring to the floor this year, we've ensured that this funding is responsible, is reasonable, and will make the most out of every single tax dollar spent. By scouring out waste and trimming unnecessary or lower priority funding, we've produced a bill that comes in nearly $400 million below current year. I'd like to note that the committee did this in spite of the President's request, which had $800 million in false savings and offsets and underfunded a variety of critical programs. This bill rejects those gimmicks and makes sure that these programs have received funding levels that allow them to do their important work. And to make sure this good work does not fall to the wayside, the committee included several oversight provisions that will ensure our tax dollars are being spent responsibly. In addition, the bill includes some provisions that will assure the life, liberty, and property of the American people, such as prohibiting the transfer or release of Guantanamo detainees into the U.S., protecting our Second Amendment rights and preserving the sanctity of life. Madam Chairman, before I close, let me take a moment to thank again the Chairman, Frank Wolf, Mr. Fattah, members of the committee and staff, for all their hard work on this bill. This is a tough bill to put together. And the allocation was not the greatest in the world that they had to work with. But they have, I think, fit the needs of the country into this bill. I want to particularly draw attention to the chairman of this subcommittee and the author of this fine piece of legislation. Frank Wolf has served in this House the same number of days that I have. We came together in 1980, January 81, and over that 34 years of service in this body, Chairman Frank Wolf has been a stalwart, passionate, compassionate legislator, a dedicated, conscientious member of Congress and appropriator. His expert work on this committee can be summed up in the legislation really that we have before us today. And I know that when he's gone, Frank Wolf's absence will be deeply felt by me and all of his colleagues, and I think by the country, because he has truly served America for all these years, unselfishly, and with hard work, and with compassion. And so, Chairman Wolf, for all you've done for this bill, the Appropriations Committee, the House of Representatives, your native Virginia, and the United States of America, we thank you, and we will miss you. With that, Madam Chairman, I urge my colleagues to support the bill.